in progress, and would like to welcome you to our first session of our fall series of virtual PDs. Tonight's topic is implementing forward-facing resources for elementary and middle school teachers. So please check your schedules and make sure you are in the right place. I am Linda Morgan. So that is the voice you are hearing right now. I am a curriculum development specialist here at cyber.org, and joining me on the call this evening in the chat is the lovely and effervescent Charlene Cooper. She is actually our director of curriculum, so you guys are in for a treat. We got a VIP in the house. Woot woot. So welcome to everyone. So just a little bit of help for me. Want to talk about changing your Zoom display name real quick. If you would click on the icon that says participants and find the list. If you would right click on your current username and at least change it to your first name, preferably first name and last name, especially if you are iPad right now. That will make it a little bit easier for me later on this evening to prepare the attendance list for our staff member who is going to generate your participation certificates. So just a little bit of housekeeping there for you, if you would be so kind as to do those things. I am going to keep rocking and rolling. So as the email mentioned, this is going to be an interactive PD. We've got the chat going, and we also have a bit of audience participation through an app called Slido. So if you go to slido.com and enter that number on the screen, 329-315, that will take you to my Slido, where our very first question of the evening is going to be, which of the following best describes you? Our choices are K through 2 educator, 3 through 5 educator, 6 through 8 educator, 9 through 12. And because I actually remembered, I also included a section for admin, counselors, and curriculum coaches. So hopefully a little bit of something for everybody. So 3 through 5 is taking the lead here this evening. Give everybody a second or two to interact with the poll. You could also throw that information into the chat if that is more convenient for you, because you are oot and a boot and can't get to the Slido, but can get to the chat. That would be awesome, just to sort of get an idea of what we're working with and where our interests will lie. So got 2 people so far. I myself and also Charlene, we would both fall in the 6 through 8 educator category. We both come from middle school backgrounds. We actually met teaching robotics. We worked in the same school district. And we're both voluntold that that was going to be our hot new subject. And so we met at training and decided we needed to be best friends who never ever fight. And that is what we have done. All right. So in the interest of preserving time, I'll go ahead and click off of this. That survey should still stay open, but I want to talk a little bit about the objectives of the next 90 minutes, because it's going to go fast. So tonight, definitely want to take a look at our cyber safety video series. All of the items that we are going to look at tonight are actually things that you can implement in your classroom without the need for a Canvas account. Normally, when you join a cyber.org PD, we talk about the things that are behind the registration wall. But tonight is all about the things that you can access right now and possibly even implement in your classroom tomorrow. Well, that's okay, Rhonda. Your name is already good to go. So you are excellent. So don't worry about having to change your name. Yay! So like I was saying, cyber safety video series, want to talk about that. Also want to show you through Slido a quick, fast way to create an assessment with that. So I've prepared a little quiz for you guys. No studying required because all the answers are going to be in the video. Then we're going to take a look at our keys to cybersecurity. We're going to take a look at an elementary key tonight, but we're going to talk about how the elementary keys and the middle school keys go together. But we're actually going to walk through one so you'll get to experience exactly what a student would experience if he or she were working on a particular key. We'll take a look at our cyber career profiles and some different things that you can do with those. Our password strength tester, which is a great resource for having conversations about those. We may get around to some capture the flag and some cyber tools, just kind of depends on how the night is going. All right. So here we go. So our cyber safety video series can be found at cyber.org/cyber safety. And Charlene is going to drop that in the chat for you there. So there are 8 videos in all, and I like to talk about a couple of different ways that these could be used either in the classroom or at home, because some districts, they have an outreach component to their computer safety or cybersecurity. And so these cyber safety videos certainly lend themselves to being good for that because each one comes with a tip card. And so the tip card is actually what you are seeing on the screen there. That tip card could be printed and sent home with the students so that the family could watch that cyber safety video together and have a talk about the important points that are in the video. And so they can have a guided discussion that way, or if you want to use the cyber safety videos in your classroom, like I said, there are 8 of them, so it would make a great sort of monthly cybersecurity lesson. These are great for, computer lab teachers, but these are super great for core teachers who sometimes have to take on those responsibilities, but don't necessarily know where to start with that. So these would be 8 great short videos that could be shown. And you could very easily come up with a quick little quiz in your school's LMS and in order to prove that you have assessed these topics as well. And so another cool idea is, printing that teacher tip card for your own classroom use and then hanging that in a high traffic area, maybe near the pencil sharpener, maybe near the door when you come in. That way, students are always getting a look at that card and they are putting those tips into their brain space. So I'm going to show you just how quick and easy it is to come up with an assessment because all of the questions that I created this evening, and I think there are about 6 of them, came directly from watching the video. So in answer to a question that my students would hit me with, are these questions in the order that they will appear in the video? And the answer is yes. Yes, they are. So I have already optimized my sound. And so I am going to just check to make sure because we are operating live without a net. So we are good, and I'm going to hit play.
In this episode of our cyber safety series, we are covering ransomware. First, what is ransomware? Ransomware is a type of malware that holds a victim's data for ransom. That is, the attacker typically locks up the victim's data until the victim pays them a certain amount of money to have it unlocked, although it is not guaranteed the attacker will actually unlock the victim's data. Additionally, the attacker typically wants the victim to pay in a cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin, to remain as anonymous as possible. You can avoid becoming a victim of ransomware by not downloading software from unknown or unverified sources, avoid clicking untrustworthy links in email, backing up your data frequently, and never giving away personal information such as passwords and usernames. Victims of ransomware should report it immediately to CISA at www.us-cert.gov/report, a local FBI field office or Secret Service field office. Stay safe out there.
Number one, ransomware is a type of blank that holds a victim's data for ransom.
Malware.
That is correct. Malware is correct. And I like this one as well because you can put a timer on these too. And I would assume that if I didn't put a timer, once everybody had clicked in, it would automatically roll over and be like, okay, everybody's done. But malware, okay, number two, the word ransom and ransomware means that the malicious actor who sent the malware wants wants what in return. And as you can see, I wasn't super serious with some of these answers. Although, depending on their diet, a football helmet full of cottage cheese could be a winner. But usually they want money. True or false? If you send money to a malicious actor who sent you ransomware, they have to unlock your computer when they get the money. All right, most everyone said false, and it is false. They're thieves. No honor among thieves. They don't have to do anything. Next up, for a malicious actor, what is the benefit of receiving payment in the form of Bitcoin or other digital currency? All right, overwhelming response to stay as anonymous as possible, and that is the correct answer. Put the tips to avoid ransomware in the same order as they appear in the video. And again, this kind of question is just to sort of get them looking at those tips. This could be one of those questions where you tell them, I'm going to throw this one out. Don't worry about it. But it's good for them to look at the tips. All right, I don't remember the answer. Oh, it was 2413. Number two, avoid downloading software from unknown sources. Number four, avoid clicking untrustworthy links in emails. Number one, back up your computer frequently. And number three, avoid giving away personal information such as passwords and usernames. Don't worry, guys, I'll throw this question out. Which of the following government agencies should you not report to if you become a target of ransomware? And I didn't know that a couple of these existed, so this was a very helpful video. All right, overwhelming Secret Service and our IRS, and that IRS is correct. They were not on the list. You definitely want to involve CISA, your local FBI field office, and your local Secret Service field office, which again, I did not know was a thing. So super helpful. Thanks, video. All right. So congratulations to Sarah. If I had a can of beets, you would get to take a picture with it. So again, these were just really quick and simple questions that I sort of jotted down as I was watching the videos. And along, with those 8 other videos, you could certainly, do that too. You can come up with, cute and funny answers like I did for some of them. Throw a couple of non-examples in there. Anything that you want that you think will be beneficial to put in front of the kids to keep them cyber safe. So, yay. All right. So, next up is going to be our keys to cybersecurity. And these are located at cyber.org/cyber keys. And uh, as you can see on the screen, we have an elementary set of keys and a middle school set of keys. So if we take a look at those, you can see that they actually sort of go together. They build on each other. So if we in the elementary are talking about personally identifiable information, then in middle school, we're going to talk about protecting your digital footprint, um, not just what personally identifiable information about you may be out in the world, but also, what are the sites you are visiting? What are the links you are clicking on? What are the things that you are sharing? So the middle school key digs a little bit deeper. In elementary, online safety. In middle school, online threats and vulnerabilities. So online safety, because we would never want to scare elementary children. We want them to know that the internet is a great place to be, but we do want to talk about keeping them safe. And then when they get to the middle school level, we can talk a little bit more about phishing and other types of scams that are out there. So in the elementary, if we talk about authentication, then for the middle school set, we are going to talk about defense in depth. As you can see, the little screenshot there for the elementary authentication key talks about the very basics of authentication. Authentication meaning it equals a password. So then when they get to the middle school key, we get a little more in depth. We start to talk about password complexity, multi-factor authentication. So different levels of security that we can put on accounts that will make them even safer. And then finally, for the elementary set, connected devices. And then for the middle school set, protecting those connected devices. So again, kind of in the elementary, really firming up that concept of what is a connected device, what is on the internet, and then in middle school, how to protect those devices so that they don't become points of vulnerability in a network. And I'm sure all of you can probably relate some sort of story that you've heard about, hackers getting in through a smart thermostat or through a smart refrigerator. And so it would also be a very interesting conversation to talk about, do we even really need those things? Like, how smart does my refrigerator have to be? Keep my food cold. That's good enough for me. So we're going to take a look at those keys. So this is the website, and so that web address for the keys is going to be located under the Families tab. And so when you click on Keys to Cybersecurity, it looks exactly like it did on the slide. And as I said earlier, we're going to explore the elementary key. And so we're going to start with personally identifiable information. And you'll notice that so far, no place for a student to log in. We here at cyber.org are definitely not trying to collect students' personally identifiable information. Um, so we don't ask for that on any of our forward-facing resources, and even our Canvas accounts. You cannot add students to it because we don't want that personally identifiable information. And if you had a Canvas account, that's where all your answer keys and stuff are located. So you don't want your kids on there anyway. So the key gives us a little bit of an overview, and it tells us first you'll learn what a digital footprint and personally identifiable information are. Then you'll learn what it is to share personally identifiable information and who you should share it with. Now, the one metric that we do ask students about is their current grade level. And so we have third through eighth grade listed, but if you were going to go higher or lower with this, then the student would just select other. So we'll go ahead and say, since we are going to explore the elementary, that we are a fifth grade student. We'll open this. And so it opens the key in a new tab. Here's my original, here's my new tab. And then it gives the students a look at the different parts of the key that are going to be available. There'll be an introduction, there'll be a section on digital footprint and personally identifiable information, and then there's a knowledge check. So when we hit start skill, it brings us to our introduction. Says, hello and welcome to the first key of cybersecurity. In this module, you will learn how to keep your digital footprint safe. First, you will learn what a digital footprint and personally identifiable information are. Then you will learn when it is safe to share personally identifiable information and whom you should share it with. So we'll click continue. And it tells us that we're going to watch a cute little video. And so here is our first video.
In school, people know who you are because of your name, what school you go to, who your friends are, and what interests you have. Have you wondered if people know who you are on the internet? The data you enter on websites and apps creates an image of you on the internet. For example, if you search for a new video game or look up an answer to a question online, the computer keeps that information about you. This is known as your digital footprint. This footprint contains data split into two groups. Public information, also called non-identifiable data, which is okay to share. Private information, also called personally identifiable information, or PII, which is not okay to share. Non-identifiable data is the information in your digital footprint that cannot be used to identify you on its own. This can include your favorite food or movies, the games you play online, the websites you visit, and how often you visit them. This data does not tell who you are, but it gives apps and services an idea of what you like. This is how Netflix knows what to suggest to you based on what you've been watching. Personally identifiable information, or PII, is the data that can be used to figure out who you are if someone had access to it. PII could be your full name, your birthday, any student number given to you by the school, your address, and lots of other things. It's important to not share too much about yourself online. Other people can use your information to pretend they are you. If someone had enough PII about you, they may be able to guess your password. They can even log in and change your password to keep you out of your accounts. Remember to keep your personally identifiable information safe.
All right. They're so cute, these little videos. It provides a PDF of the transcript of the video. And so now as we scroll, it asks us to identify the correct statement. Your phone number is personally identifiable information. Your phone number is not personally identifiable information. So you can drop in the chat. You can give me a thumbs up for yes, a thumbs down for no. Which one should I pick? All right, Rosa says is personal information. Rhonda says yes, is personal information. All right. All right, Sarah's giving me a thumbs up. Okay, so I'm going to click is personal information. Very nice. Correct. Your phone number is personally identifiable information. So as I continue to scroll, now we have another question. Identify the correct statement. The name of your country, example USA, is personally identifiable information. The name of your country, example USA, is not personally identifiable information. What do we think about this one? All right, we're on the fence. We've got an is not and an is. All right, we're 50-50. All right, okay. So we're gonna click not. Let's see what happens. Oh, we're correct. The name of your country is not personally identifiable information. Your country is probably large enough that if you tell someone you're from the United States, they've got 50 states to choose from before they really find you for sure. Identify the correct statement. The sport you play is personally identifiable information. The sport you play is not personally identifiable information. All right. Peter's thinking not. Vita's thinking not. Renee is thinking not. Okay, let's see what we got. Correct. The sport you play is not personally identifiable information. Absolutely. Now, if you got more specific about that sport, then you're probably hedging up on some personally identifiable information. Let's see. Your street address is personally identifiable information. Your street address is not personally identifiable information. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We got a lot of yeses here. All right, let's click that one. Correct. Your street address is personally identifiable information. All right. Your current location is personally identifiable information. Your current location is not personally identifiable information. All right. Lots of people thinking yes. And you're correct. Your current location is personally identifiable information. All right. Your favorite food is personal identifiable information, is not personally identifiable information. All right, some folks are saying is not. Well, I sure hope that if I tell you guys that I enjoy spaghetti and meatballs, maybe you'll send me some. But you are correct. Your favorite food is not personally identifiable information. All right, so we can click continue on that, and we are almost through with this first part. We've got a little wrap-up video here.
In the first video, we looked at how the information you enter on the internet makes up your digital footprint. It is important that personally identifiable information like your name and address is kept hidden from others online for your own protection. Sometimes, you will need to tell people things like your real name or address. For example, you need to tell your teacher your real first and last name. Also, if you are lost at a grocery store or a park, you may need to tell a grocery store or park employee who your parents are so they can help you find them. People like teachers, park employees, and your parents are what we call trusted sources because they can help us. When you are using the internet, you need to make sure that you share personally identifiable information only with trusted sources. There are a few ways to be sure of this. Decide if what you are about to put out on the internet is personally identifiable information. If you aren't sure if a website can be trusted, check with your parents or teacher before you input any private data. Use different passwords every time you create an account online. Delete or disable old accounts to keep better control over the amount of data about you on the internet.
All right, I really love these because being self-guided modules, they really do, cover depth of information. I like that it even talks about, who a trusted adult would be. So lots of good information here. All right, so this section is more of a vocabulary check, or still a bit of a knowledge check, where the student would sort of guess full name, personal or not, and then they would be able to check themselves, is personally identifiable information. Pet's name, not personally identifiable information. And so they'd be able to go through these cards and sort of quiz themselves on whether or not at this point they can recognize what is personally identifiable information and what is not. And so after they've taken a moment or two to study, that wraps up that part of the key. And now for the knowledge check. All right. So a different video this time.
Camila has just got an email from her teacher, Miss Johnson, asking her for some details for the next field trip her class will be taking. Camila notices that the email from Miss Johnson is from her school email address. Answer the question that follows this video.
All right, so let's take a look at the question. Should Camilla put her address and phone number in the email? All right, I've got a yes, got a couple of yeses. All right, so let's see. Yes, Camilla can give out her address and phone number in the email. The email is from the school email address, and Ms. Johnson is her teacher. This would be considered a trusted source, and Camilla's personal information would be safe. All right, let's take a look at this one.
Camila can give out her address and her phone number in the email. The email is from the school email address, and Miss Johnson is her teacher. This would be considered a trusted source, and Camila's personal information is safe.
So I love that it gives some video feedback because, sometimes even if a student guesses right, they're like, oh yeah, I guessed right. Cool, moving on, not even going to read it. So having the video there to reaffirm their choice is actually pretty useful. So I really like that. So let's take a look here.
Ricky's parents gave him the latest gaming console as a gift for his birthday. Ricky must set up a gamer tag, a type of username, on his new console to use it online. Ricky decides that he will use the gamer tag RickyTan0403 because Tan is his last name. He adds 0403 because his birthday was on the 3rd of April, and he figures no one will guess that. Answer the question that follows this video.
All right. So Ricky's trying to decide whether or not his gamer tag will be RickyTan0403. Should he use this gamer tag? Oh, so many no's already in the chat. For sure. Ricky should not use this gamer tag. The gamer tag contains his full name and a combination of numbers that could easily be considered personally identifiable information that is accessible to anyone.
Ricky should not use this gamer tag. The gamer tag contains his full name and a combination of numbers that would be considered personally identifiable information that is accessible to anyone.
Right. Okay. So the cool thing is that once a student finishes the key, it generates a certificate for them. So I can click on this and open it. And so this is what the certificate looks like. Has It's cute and colorful, has the key that they finished, and then the line up here where they would write their name actually spells name in binary. So I don't know if your nerd matches my nerd, but I think that's pretty cool. And so students would be able to go through and complete each of the keys, and they would generate certificates for each key as they complete them. And so that, again, forward facing, don't need an account. And if we go back to the main page, so let's say they have, they've gone through and they've already done the personally identifiable information, and they come back at another point. They have the ability to skip to the next key. So they can find the next key and they don't have to keep repeating themselves each time. So two really cool resources. And I want to take a moment to stop and ask if there are any questions about anything that we have seen so far. Well, hooray for me. I'm doing a bang up job of explaining things. Well, let's keep going then. So this next one is a super cute resource, and it is our comic series, The Adventures of Pascal and Python. And so, yes.
Linda, just before you get into that, we do have one question in the chat. Are certificates issued regardless of how the student does on the review questions? This is a great question.
That is a great question. And the nice thing about it is that if the students get questions wrong, it will prompt them and give them another chance to go back and change their answers. So really and truly, they won't be able to progress until they have selected the right answer and received the feedback for that. So the short answer is yes, but because they will be made to go back and actually get the right answer. So excellent question. All right. Awesome. Okay. I like the feedback that everyone likes these. So I want to once again come over here to the website. And once again, under the Families tab is where you will find the adventures of Pascal and Python. And so they have six comics, I believe. One on multi-factor authentication, one on our National Cyber Cup, which is our capture the flag competition that I'm hoping that we'll get to talk about. And our one on phishing, one on public Wi-Fi safety, one on protecting yourself online, and one on defense against ransomware. And so you can click read the comic and it will pull up a cute PDF, and actually had a couple of teachers ask whether or not they could host these to their website, and it has a web address. So the only thing that I could think of is that you would probably want to host this page as a link so that students could go through and pick the comic that they want to look at. But if you're thinking of having it, kind of linked on there as maybe like a monthly thing where you can, swap those out, then linking to that specific web address might be better for you. But so they're super cute and super colorful, and they are actually drawn by a daughter of a staff member. So she is a high schooler, and she has done an incredible job of putting these together. So we're still trying to decide, what future topics could be, and whether or not she will be available to put more of these together for us. So um, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that eventually we see some more because they are so excellently done. And I think that these are really cool and really fun for students. Um, so, but 6 great ones to choose from right now. So I'm not angry at that for sure. But they're super cute. People have asked before if we are selling plushies of them in a store somewhere, and unfortunately, we are not. But if we were, I would already own them, and they would be on my desk as my desk friends because they are completely adorable. All right, let's see. Taking the long way around here. Okay, so another awesome resource, and this one is suitable for classroom decorating. Cyber.org used to do all of my classroom decorating when I was in the classroom because, again, our stuff is cute and colorful and it is super informative. So why would I decorate with anything else? And that is our cyber career profile cards. These are great ways to highlight cyber careers very easily. They're available on our website under the Career Exploration tab for search and for download. And behind our registration wall in our Canvas lessons, we have one cyber career embedded in each of our 3 to 5 and 6 to 8 cybersecurity basics lessons, as well as our cyber.org range activities lessons. So 2 great modules where students will be able to learn about cyber careers on top of the really cool cyber concepts that they've learned about too. Peter says that the posters are the best and that he has them. Um, oh, he has them as screensavers on his lab desktop. Oh, Peter, why did I not know you when I was in the classroom? It's so genius. Um, I printed mine out and I had them at the computer. So every time the students sat down at the computer, they would see a different cyber career. But dude, having them as a screensaver, that is choice. I love that. So let's take a look at where Peter found all of that. So under career exploration, there's the drop down menu. And so if you click on cyber career profiles, that will take you to the part of our website where you can search through the careers. We've got a couple of filtering components over here on the side, which careers just need an associate's degree. That's a 2-year degree and not too shabby, not too shabby. As far as compensation, we can take a look at careers that require bachelor's degrees. Most kids find this one pretty interesting. No degree required at all. And look, there's several to choose from. Now, a lot of these do wind up falling under where they need a different kind of certification. But You don't necessarily have to go to college to get those certifications. And so that is why they are under no degree. For the fancy among us, there are also careers that require doctorates. And eventually we'll have some on there because another part of our website talks about those skills and certifications. So it gives high school folks some information on the different CompTIA certifications that are out there, Palo Alto, different certifications that they can take in order to pursue these careers. Talks about centers for academic excellence. So this is a super great resource for high schoolers. We give information about the Cyber Core Scholarship or Service and a link to that website to have students be able to find out how they can start pursuing that. So that is a super great resource as well. But if you just click on career exploration, if you don't click on either of the items from the drop-down menu, that's where you're going to be able to find our downloads. And so as you scroll down a little bit, once again, you have the ability to link back to where you can explore. But here is where you can download a full set of cards. So these cards right here are 8x8. These are the ones that I printed out to hang on my wall. Peter, are these the ones that are your screensavers? He says he believes so. Yes. Uh, it makes sense. They're probably the most user friendly for a computer screen. Oh, okay. Tried to drop the folder of photos in the chat. W- that's cool. And luckily, it doesn't require too much. You can full screen the screen and then use your snipping tool to take a screenshot there, and you can save that as a image file that you can use for those pictures. But yeah, I downloaded these and I did just the odd numbered cards. That way I would just get the front sides because I was hanging them on my wall. So I didn't need this very toner heavy back of the card. But it's still great information. And so it goes through and it outlines the common job duties, degrees required, bachelor's degree, usually 4 years for a bachelor's ROSA, depending on what they're going into. And then usually if a career requires, more than that, they'll indicate. If we scroll down real quick to cyber legal advisor, this one's going to wind up needing more than just a bachelor's because the students are going to have to go to law school as well to pursue their Juris Doctorate, and they'll pick a specialty just like they would, environmental law or whatever. So cyber legal would be the specialty that they would pick. So this one is an example of where they're going to need more than just the 4 years. But it'll usually, if it requires a degree, it'll tell you which one. So a cyber security engineer recommends a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity or computer science. And so it'll give them that information, and then it'll also give them some of the common job duties that a person in that career would be expected to perform. And so these career paths sort of cover the gambit right now from, your very shy and reserved students who may not want to, stand out in a crowd. There are certainly careers where they wouldn't be called upon to basically or necessarily be in the public, and some of the careers are a little more public for the more outgoing among your student population. So there is definitely a little bit of something for everyone in that pack. If you scroll down farther, then you can get a full set of our career profile trading cards as well. I'm not going to lie, these do become a little more labor intensive to print because they print on front and back. But these are the cards that we usually give away if we go to conferences or we attend a PD in your area. We'll bring some of these with us, and the kids have come up with some pretty amazing games. We personally have played bingo with these cards before. You can decide what information on the card you want to pull from to describe the card, or you could just call out the name of the career. Have the kids arrange the cards on their desk in a 5x5 grid. And if you call that career, then they flip it over and you can decide how to get bingo. One teacher, she told us that the kids, a small group of kids would sit because there's 25 cards, and they would deal out all the cards, and it would sort of be kind of battle style. They would look at the back of their card, and so the goal on 1, 2, 3, go would be to pull a card and lay it down with the highest median salary and the lowest education required. And so whichever student was the winner would get all of the cards, and much like battle, they would play until one student had all of the cards. So she said that it was a very organic thing. The kids came up with it on their own. They were playing in her class, and she was like, "What are y'all doing?" And they're like, "No, no, no, let us show you this game." And so um, it's uh, it's really fun because like they really get to know those cards because they need to know which ones to throw down so that they can win. So they don't even realize it, but they are really learning about those cyber careers. So they're easy to download. They're located at cyber.org/career-exploration. And then, like I said, if you click on career exploration and don't select an item from the drop-down menu, it'll take you to where you can download those. We looked at the online version where you could filter through. So now I want to talk about our password strength tester. And our password strength tester. This one, the web address is a little bit longer, so Charlene has dropped that in the chat for you. But this one is cyber.org/find-curricula/test strength your passwords. So as soon as you click on it, you're going to want to go ahead and bookmark it because you're going to want to be able to get back there. But this is a great tool for being able to have conversations with your students about what makes a good password because it'll show them how long it would take a supercomputer to brute force attack an account. And that is basically just going through a list of passwords and trying password 1, password 1, 2, 3, password, and just keeps trying. So as you can see, it ranks password as very weak, 0 seconds. So then you get into those points of complexity that we talk about, capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, special characters. And so this particular password is I love dance. And as you can see, even though it has all four of the complexity components that we list, it is still only a moderate password, which could be cracked by that password cracking software in 194 days. Now, whether or not that is worth it to a malicious actor for it to take that long for them to get into a password, it's still not a super great password. So this one, cybersecurity, is awesome. It's super strong. 237 centuries to crack this one. It has capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and exclamation point on the end for a symbol, but friends. Is that password memorable? Is that a password that is going to stay in your brain? Or is that a password you're going to have to write down somewhere? Rose is nodding like, yeah, I'd have to write that one down. Rosie, you are not alone. I would have to write that one down too. I got to remember which one was an E, which one should be a 3. And it's a good password, but the password is only good if it is something that you don't have to write down so that it can't be discovered. So let's take a look at another option. So if we take a look at this one, this is a passphrase. It's a sentence. My password is secure. Exclamation point. I was just messing around. And you'll notice it's got uppercase, it's got lowercase, and it's got the special character, but I ditched the numbers. And as you can see, if I go back, worked, 237 for the one that is super great, but I'll never remember. 323 centuries for a password that I could probably actually remember. I could remember that sentence. If I then take it another step farther and I make my sentence something that I care about, that I would actually remember. My son is in scouting, so we go to a lot of national parks. So a password like the National Forest is nice. All I did was capitalize each word in the sentence and make sure to put an exclamation point on the end, and look how strong that particular password is. So this is a really great tool for being able to have that next level conversation with students, to really drive home the point that complexity is good, but being able to remember your password is better. And so a password that is a whole sentence, that is something that you will easily remember, but will be hard for other people to guess. That's where the pager is these days. So you'd be able to very easily prove to them that more is more when it comes to passwords, more characters, and something that they can easily remember. So hopefully you bookmarked that site, because this is a really, really awesome site. Normally I would go through and talk about in the school district that my son is attending. He's had the same email address because they're using the G Suite. He's had the same email address and password since he was in kindergarten. But he told me, Mom, stop sharing my password with people. Okay, that's fair. Maybe I'll stop doing that. But just to show you, their password is the first 2 letters of their first name, the first 2 letters of their last name, and then a 6-digit number. And it says that password is good for 6 years, but my son's in the 10th grade. So he has already had that password for 11 years. So um, it's definitely a good tool to be able to talk about what are some of our students' current passwords, how do they rate, how do they stack up. Um, I would I did this with fifth graders, and I actually asked them because we tell them don't put in real passwords, but I really wanted to drive home with them that some of their passwords are trash, and so I handed out sticky notes to every student in the classroom so they could cover that little bubble. And I had them type in like a real password, maybe for their PlayStation network, maybe for their Roblox account, and just peek under that sticky note and see how they did as far as passwords. And so many students were, I got to change my password. So it is definitely a really strong tool to be able to impress upon them that they think a password is good, but some of them are actually not super great. So love, love, love this tool as well. All right. Um, so real quick, since we were in the fine curricula, um, these are our DIY breadboard circuits. Now, I will say there is there a barrier of entry as far as price. Parallax is a company who sells, robotics and microcontrollers and different things like that. And they actually put together our bundles and host them for us. Each of these kits is $12.95 unless you buy in bulk. Then the price jumps down to $11.66. But these are super great for teaching circuits. And if you go to the website for the breadboard, and you can find these things real easy by going through and clicking on Find Curricula and just typing in a keyword like I did there. But this one little breadboard with some wires and a battery and a couple of buttons and some LED lights and some resistors has 10 different builds to explore circuitry with students. So it starts very simply with, oh, okay, it doesn't want to show for me, but it starts real simple with hooking up a circuit with that one LED, and then jumps all the way down to using a potentiometer controlled buzzer. Joke's on it because I think I took some screenshots. Yeah, in my PowerPoint. There we go. Look at me. Hashtag winning. So there's that first build. Very simple. You've got, two wires, that battery pack, and then an LED. It shows the students how to wire those up, even gives some troubleshooting hints down there on the bottom. Asks whether or not the LED is backwards because that is a thing that can happen. And so then goes all the way up to build number 10. There's that potentiometer controlled buzzer. And so as you can see, things have escalated. And so you can, show them very easily circuits in series, circuits that are daisy chained, and how the flow of current works for those different elements that would be connected depending on how they have those hooked up. So there's a little bit of cost here, but it's a super fun kit, and my students really loved it, and they were super enthused that they got to take it home at the end of the week once we went through all those different builds. And so they went home and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look what I can do!" So they were very excited. All right. So I tell you what, let's talk real quick about some capture the flag, because our middle school teachers, you are going to find this interesting. Even our upper elementary, if you've got some kids who are really into computers, not just cybersecurity, but things like math and science. There's a whole variety of different kinds of questions. So our Capture the Flag competition is the National Cyber Cup, and it is hosted each year in May. Which is a blessing. Testing is over. The kids are kaput. They have learned all they are going to learn, and you need something to do to keep them up and motivated and well behaved while y'all ride the school year on out. We got y'all. We got y'all. So this gives students a chance to show off the skills that they have acquired while learning about cybersecurity. Now, teachers do have to register students for this competition. So that does mean that you wind up putting some of their personally identifiable information out there. But our entire competition, from registration to everything that the kids may need to download or look at, is vetted by I Keep Safe. And we start super early with them, going through and picking apart any place where they think that our security needs to be improved, so that by the time it's go time, we are able to tell you that we are doing everything that we can do to keep your students' personally identifiable information safe. And so the cool thing is that when the competition is not going on, the practice site is actually a really great place to give students a taste of what the competition would be like. So have the web address for the practice site. There we go. And that one is practice.ctfcyber.org. And so the landing page tells you a little bit about the competition. There are instructions tell students how to approach the challenges. It gives a basically a breakdown of what they'll see when they click on a challenge. The challenge has a name, it has a point value. On the practice site, they're all 0, but during the competition, they do have different point values. So there's a little bit of strategy there, where you want to spend your focus. The challenge, of course, has the challenge, and then it'll give you a resource button to click if there is one, and then down at the bottom, a spot to type in your answer. And it does tell you that answers, just like Jeopardy, have a very specific format. They have to be submitted with cyber and then the curly braces. And it even shows on the keyboard where those curly braces are located. It tells you about what the students will see if they get a question correct or incorrect, and then gives some tips for success. Those resources in their entirety, if you wanted to look at them, are located on the resource page. And so there's a whole bunch of them, some programming stuff with the microbit through MakeCode. So if any of y'all are doing that in your classroom, there are some questions on there that your students would totally be able to answer. And then a lot of stuff on encryption. Gives cyber vocabulary. There are also questions about those career profile cards. So if they are studying up on those and they know those are areas where they can be successful as well. You click on challenges. Here is the board. And so the board is separated into intermediate questions. These would be good for elementary, upper elementary, and middle school students. And then down on the bottom, we do give some higher high school level questions. Try not to give too many away, but there's lots to do in the intermediate as well. And so challenges always start with a place start to sort of test out giving those answers. And so this one is what is 2 plus 2? And so I'm going to put cyber, gonna put my curly braces there. And lo and behold, I got that one correct. I don't usually math in public, so you guys have just witnessed a full-on thing. So as you keep going, it's a little bit more interesting. If you were going to use the print command, this could be found in Python. Print command can be found in a lot of languages. If the print command was a string 2 plus another string 2, what would that one be? So it tells you to think carefully about that one. And 2 strings of 2s put together would be 2, 2. And so there are lots of fun questions like that. And then they tell you, the name gives you a great idea of what it's going to be about. So we've got questions about binary. These deal with the Caesar cipher. Here's one with the Visionaire. The Enigma, the Pringles Enigma machine is a forward-facing activity as well, where you can build an Enigma machine with a snack size can of Pringles and our handout. Do a little cutting, do a little taping, and all of a sudden you are doing some major encryption at that point. uh, Goes through some Python, some Pigpen. So there's all different kinds of questions. Some of them are very easy. Some of them are discrete math, and so I'm not going to click on them and try to attempt them. But there's a little bit of something for everyone. The practice site would give you a really good idea as well. If your students would be interested in forming a team to compete in the National Cyber Cup. So it'd be a good thing to put in front of them to sort of gauge interest in that way. So those are our forward-facing resources. And like I said, if you go through Find Curricula, there are a couple of other things like the Pringles Can, Enigma, and Caesar Cipher. And so some different things that you could get access to that are forward-facing that would certainly help with this. But I would be completely remiss if I did not show you a little bit around Canvas, because if you like the resources that are forward facing, you're going to love the stuff that's on the inside. This is our Canvas. When you register for an account, you get a username and password so that you can log in. And when you get to the dashboard, you'll notice that our dashboard is separated into elementary, middle, and high school. There's a lot of overlap, and there's no law that says that if you're an elementary teacher, you can't go into the other domains. But when you used to log in, it was very overwhelming, because when you sign up for any part of our cyber.org resources, you get them all. And the dashboard once upon a time had them all. And so you're like, oh gosh, what was the thing that I saw in that workshop? What was the name of that course? And so dividing them up into the different domains we find is just a little bit easier on teachers when they're looking for that thing that sparked their interest in the first place. And so in each of these bands. In elementary and middle, we have our cybersecurity basics. If you like the cyber safety video series and you like the keys to cyber security and you have the time and you want to go deeper with kids, cybersecurity basics has a lot of lessons, and we are adding more to them coming September 30th. Right now, we have lessons on digital citizenship for the K2, 3, 5, and 6, 8 grade bands. We also have different security lessons as well. So if you're, if you're in a district that is going to be, you know, having to teach different cybersecurity standards, chances are we already have a lesson ready for you. And so once again, these cover kindergarten through second, third through fifth, and sixth through eighth. And so these are going to be the security lessons. And our third domain, computing systems, is the one that is going to be added. And those are going to be some really great lessons about how computers work. So starting, at the kindergarten, identifying some of those things, third through fifth, going a little bit deeper, 6 through 8, starting to talk about how to protect those items. Some really great information in there. Coding fundamentals, if you are interested in working with the BBC microbit, we have lessons in both the make code block and Python programming languages for that. So those are super cool. We actually have a PD coming up on coding fundamentals in a couple of days. And so I want to show you that as well. So I would encourage you to, take a look around. If you really like, you know, the forward facing stuff, you're really going to love the Canvas stuff. So one more Slido before we start wrapping things up. Which of the resources that you saw this evening could you see yourself using in the classroom most readily? All right. Alexia says the password strength tester. I like that one. Coding fundamentals. Yes, that's the name of the microbit activities, and they are just broken up into block code and Python for the older folks. All right. Oh, I love this. All right, lots of votes for the password strength tester. Yes, I really love that. Of the forward-facing materials, that one is probably the easiest, but also the most powerful. Being able to have those conversations about passwords with your students and actually being able to show them the strengths of different kinds of passwords. It's a super powerful thing for sure. Absolutely. So we are going to go ahead and cut the video here. I do have a couple more slides if you are with me this evening, but just to wrap up so I can hit stop record. We have talked about our forward-facing resources this evening, our cyber safety video series, our keys to cybersecurity, the adventures of Pascal and Python, our cyber career profile cards, our password strength tester, which gets thumbs up from everybody tonight, and our standalone activities like DIY breadboard circuits and the National Cyber Cup and our practice site. So I want to thank everyone for watching and see you in the next video.